Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be doing my February wrap-up. So I read a total of 6 books this month, which I was very happy about. As if you saw my life update video, which I'll link up the cards, I highly recommend you go check that out just because I had a lot of unexpected life changes happen this month, and as a result I've been able to read a little bit more. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So starting out, I first read Language of Thorns by Leigh Bardugo, which is a collection of kind of short story fairy tales that take place in the Grishaverse. So I was really excited for this. I held off buying this for such a long time, but this past Christmas I ended up picking it up, and yeah, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I wasn't like blown away by it. There were a couple of short stories that I really enjoyed, but I found with some of them I just kind of was like speed reading through them just to get them done. So they weren't necessarily my favorite, and I do feel like I would have been better off not reading these, but I do really love the illustrations in here, and like each page it adds something else. I'm sure you guys already know, but yeah, I really liked some of them, and then some of them were just like okay, so that's why I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Yeah, it was just kind of alright. So this next one is a book that my aunt lent me to read. We read the first book together once we were brothers, and she had the sequel, so she let me borrow it when I saw her at Christmas time, so I have to like finish all the 2 other books that she gave me before Easter when they come to visit, and it was Karolina's Twins, and I think this is the 3rd book in this series, but it follows Catherine and Liam, who are a couple that, Catherine is a lawyer and then Liam's an investigator, and they investigate or look into kind of unsolved war crimes, particularly in World War II. And so this one follows a woman who approaches Catherine, and she has been holding on to this secret for several decades, and she's finally telling the story about her friend's twins that disappeared during the war, and she's kind of going over that story, and it turns into this legal battle with this woman's son and all of this stuff. So I will say it did take me a while just to get into the groove of the story, especially in the beginning. It's very much info dumpy, and it just takes a while for the story actually to pick up. But once I got about 50 pages into it, I could not put this book down. It was really good, and I was really invested in it, in these characters, and just finding out what happened to Karolina's twins. There's a big plot twist in this, but I kind of guessed it about the halfway point, but nevertheless, like, I picked up on some of the stuff that they talk about later on, so that was still really good. So I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it actually, and I would really like to continue on with this series after reading this. I didn't even know it was a series until my aunt let me borrow this book, but that's really exciting as well. So next I ended up picking up The Winter of the Witch, and I ended up getting this from the library. I've been holding out on getting the hard copy because it's like 20 bucks on Amazon for some reason. Like, it's pretty expensive for, I don't think this is worth like 20 bucks, but I'm waiting for the price to go down. But I really wanted to continue on with the series. I read The Girl in the Tower, I want to say, I'm looking at my thing, back in January, so I really want to continue on with the series and finish it, and I was blown away by this. With The Bear and the Nightingale, I do have a spoiler-free review of this series as a whole, which I'll link up in the cards so you can go and check that out. But it took me a while to get into The Bear and the Nightingale because it is so much, like, very much info dumpy, and it just takes a while to get in the groove of the story. But after that halfway point of The Bear and the Nightingale, like, I was really invested, and I loved The Girl in the Tower, and this one was just an amazing conclusion. I'm trying to be vague about this, but it basically takes place in like the 1500s in Russia, and it follows, or it's based upon Russian folklore, and we follow Vaza, who has the gift of sight, so she can see these house demons, and that kind of takes off from there. But I really like this, especially with the series overall. We get to see Vaza basically since she's born until now, so I really love seeing that character progression, and I think this was just an amazing conclusion to this trilogy, and I highly recommend that you check it out. And like, if you're struggling with The Bear and the Nightingale, just push through, because it's honestly, I'm so glad I did, because it was totally worth it in the end. So once I finished The Winter of the Witch, I was holding out on starting another big book because I was waiting for The Huntress by Kate Quinn to come out on the 26th, and so I was kind of reading some some of the smaller books as well, just so I had something to read, but it wasn't as big of a commitment as it were if it were like a 400-page book. So I finally ended up picking up this, and it is The Archive of Magic, the film Wizardry of the Crimes of Grindelwald. And despite the mixed reviews, I actually very much liked the film. And so this kind of goes behind the scenes of the film in itself. Like, it talks about the characters, but then it also goes into the character design, the plot design, how they did the costumes and all that, and it's very interactive. As you can see, like, there's many pages where like things will come out and all of that stuff, so you actually get a really good kind of better understanding of the film. Like, I knew a lot went into a film, but you don't realize how like every single detail like adds to like how much thought goes into a little detail. So that was just really, for me at least, I learned a lot. And I got this for the first book as well, so this one follows a similar format, but I really like this actually. I ended up giving this a 5 out of 5 stars. I really liked it, and it was a good refresher too for when this comes out on Blu-ray on the 12th, I want to say, so I'm really excited for that. Like, I'm in full Fantastic Beasts mode right now, so I was really happy that I finally was able to pick this up. And continuing on with bigger Harry Potter books, I finally have picked up the Tales of Beedle the Bard. This is the illustrated edition by J.K. Rowling, and I had the Hogwarts Library collection, which has like Quidditch Through the Ages, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and then the Tales of Beedle the Bard. And I've just never gotten around to doing it, but I was like, okay, this one's been on my shelf for a while. I would really like to read this. And so it has, I want to say 3 or 4 short stories, actually 5, and some of them I did recognize the name from Harry Potter, and obviously the Tale of the Three Brothers as well, I knew as well, but I really loved this fairy tale twist with the wizarding world. And what's unique about this, I think this is also in the original edition that I have, is that it has, after each fairy tale, it has a commentary by Dumbledore, which really ties into the Harry Potter world as well. So I really like that. Obviously, I think my favorite was actually Babbity Rabbity and Her Cackling Stump. I really liked that one, and then also the Tale of the Three Brothers, obviously. But the illustrations in here are very simplistic actually, but I really like them as well, and I finished this within a day. Like, you can just fly through it. But yeah, I really liked it, and again, it has that commentary by Dumbledore, which I think kind of added to that reading experience and made me enjoy it a lot more than I would have if it was just the short stories. Finally, this is a small book that I was like, okay, the book comes out in 2 days, what am I gonna do between then? And so I picked up The Wit and Wisdom of Downton Abbey by Jessica Fellows, and this is a collection of some of the quotes from Downton Abbey. Like, I love that show. That was the show I marathon through when I was doing my master's, and then I got my parents hooked on it, and then there's the movie coming out in September, which I'm really excited about. So I had this, and it's very, as you can see, it's very small. It's like 125 pages, but just has a collection of some of like the best quotes from the show. And if you're familiar with it, Violet has the best one-liners, so it was fun kind of reliving this because I could like see the scenes in my head when I was reading these. And yeah, it was just a fun little refresher. I think my parents actually, they just finished it maybe a couple months ago, and they want to rewatch it, so when the film comes out they'll be all caught up. So I think probably over the summer we will rewatch it again, so that'll be the 3rd time for me, but I still love it nonetheless. And yeah, this was just a little fun little quick read as well. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what some of the books you've read are this month, and if you've read any of these, what your thoughts and opinions are. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.